everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast. I am your host, Dr. Renee Jordan, and today we are going to take a look at a blog post from July 2018, and it is entitled, Be All Parts of You. So here we go. While texting one of my nieces today, I gave her some advice and thought that it was pretty good. So I asked her if I could share it, and she said that she did not mind. Me? Hi, I got a headboard for my bed. How are you feeling today, niece? Yes, heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji. And I'm good. How about you? Me? I'm doing well. I'm taking a break today. Niece? Yay, finally with the breaks. IDK, or I don't know if it's just me, but I feel bad when I take breaks. Me? LOL. It's okay to take breaks. You are human, not superwoman. I understand what you mean though, but even God rested, and I am not better than him. Niece, I get what you're saying. Maybe I just don't like long breaks. Me, it's okay to do something different when you take a break, like when I painted my wall or took down the exhaust vent in my bathroom. I had to get help installing the new one though. LOL. It is so much quieter than the old one. I can hear myself think. The same person who helped me to install it on Monday helps me with my headboard. Taking a break from one thing can mean using your other talents, gifts, and skills. You're creative. Be all parts of you, not one-sided, and give other parts, academics, a break. Niece, oh, that's super cool. Are you really handy? And okay, I'll try that. Thank you. Me, from time to time, it will help you to be even more creative in school because you allow other parts of your brain to work. Sing, dance, write stories, or tell them. Enjoy. LOL. I do all right with handiwork, but I also know when I need help. LOL. You're welcome. So once again, the title of this blog post is Be All Parts of You. As an educator and an academic and researcher and someone who works full-time, it's easy to get stuck in those places that you are, or I should say, with all the different things that I do, it's possible for me to stay in one phase or one section, one segment, one part of my life for extended periods of time. But I have to take a break. I have to do other things because not only do I read and write and review documents at this time of the blog post, make sure that they were in compliance with rules and regulations and policies. I also was in school and I needed time for myself to do other things because that's not all I'm good at. For whatever reason, I don't mind working in that vein. However, there are other parts of me that I just enjoy being able to do on my own. So in terms of handiwork, I've worked on my toilet, I've worked on my shower, I've worked on, I've worked on decorating my home, and that included painting. So I have a mural in two of my rooms that I did. One of them took 10 hours. I was fed up with go, 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 write, read, that I was just like, time out. I need a break. And for my break, I'm going to paint something that I enjoy doing and something that I have to actually stop and do in order to get done. And so I painted one mural in 10 hours while listening to music. And a couple months later, if not the following month, I painted another mural in another room. And that one only took me 5 hours because I had the hang of it. And I talked a little bit about that in a previous episode. So when I say be all parts of you, for me, that means my creative expressions, being able to paint, being able to doodle, being able to find a new lip color. Another way that I would creatively express myself would be with my hair. And so I was one that would try different hairstyles. And as of lately, I have done different paint and sips. I did a virtual paint and sip with my family during the pandemic. So in 2020 or 2021, I did have a paint party with my family over Zoom. And what I did to make sure that everyone felt comfortable with where they were starting off, I gave them some options from Etsy. They have like pre-drawn canvases of different things. So whether it's animals or shoes or wine and fruit and cheese, like a charcuterie board, or whether it was images of Black women. There were an assortment of different pre-printed or pre-drawn canvases that they could select from. And so they selected their canvases, had them sent to their houses. And so in December and January, we had a redo for those who couldn't make it in December. We actually painted while we were on our family Zoom call. And that was cool because not only did I get to see bits of my family's personality based upon what they chose, but also in how they painted. And it was a good time. So even if you say, hey, I'm not quite artistic like that, find a place where you can feel comfortable. There are adult coloring books nowadays and different ways that you can get involved with being creative and artistic at whatever level you're comfortable with. You don't always have to start from scratch. And some of the other ways that I'm creative, as you can see here, I have one of my drawings. And once again, this is Nicole Bakula, was named by one of my nieces. And so this is the handy dandy notebook that is a part of the art release. And in one of my previous episodes, you can see my other drawing, and this is Tia 1.0. I say 1.0 because if you go to the Black-Liberation.Tech website, she's on the homepage and you'll see a few hairstyles that she rocks. So this is just one of the 3 hairstyles. And so that's another drawing that I've done. So I definitely encourage anyone who is reading a lot, writing a lot, doing a lot of analytical work to get on your other side of your brain by doing something creative, working with your hands. So little jobs around the house in order to, fix things or decorate. Definitely work that other side of your brain. It can be rejuvenating and refreshing. I highly recommend it. I learned from one of my coworkers who has since retired, who worked in the Student Learning Center where they would have tutoring opportunities as well as different programs to help expose students to opportunities and ways of navigating academia. I learned from the former director that it's important to exercise different parts of your brain. It is possible to exhaust or get tired. And so by changing up your activity, you're giving yourself time to take a break from whatever it is that you've been working on for a long time. So if you've been working on math assignments for a long time, if you've been working on writing assignments for a long time, walk away from it. Take a break. She pretty much said your brain is a muscle, and if you keep working that one muscle, it's going to suffer fatigue. So change it up, do something different, and then come back to it. And so with my artwork, with my decorating, with my hairstyles, with my fashion, with my handy dandy notebooks that I've drawn and different artistic expressions and the like, those things have helped me to not only take breaks from the analytical work that I do, but it's also allowed me to express myself in other ways that I actually enjoy. Now, one of the things that I used to do at my home church in Maryland was that I would sing in the choir, and I sang in the choir for 25 years. And that was refreshing, it was rejuvenating, and being able to work not only my creative muscle in that area, but my vocal muscles as well, allowed me to express myself in another way that I enjoyed. And over time, it has helped me to develop my presentation skills. It's helped me to make sure that when I'm in front of a crowd that I'm projecting my voice so that it carries to the spaces in the room, and I'm not shy about speaking in places. I'll get nervous. Don't get it twisted. If it's a new place I've never been before, there's a whole lot of folks or people that I don't know, it is possible for me to get nervous. I'm not going to say that, oh no, I don't get nervous. Yes, I still get nervous. But because I've done it so often, it's like, okay, I'm nervous and that's okay. I'm going to get through this. And so I definitely credit being a singer for so long to being able to hold my own when it comes to presenting information. Now, my niece mentioned something, and that was sometimes she felt bad about taking breaks, and she thought perhaps it was that she didn't like to take long breaks. Well, sometimes when you have high expectations for yourself and you meet them and you meet them and you meet them and you say, oh, I have to study, oh, I have to focus, oh, I have to do this. When you know you still have work to do, it requires an adjustment for some in terms of their thinking to say, it's okay for me to take a break. I'm going to come back to this. It's okay for me to take a break. I'm not going to slack off. I just need to take a break. It's okay for me to take a break. I know that I'm responsible and I have a history of being responsible. And so I know that I am going to get back to work. But I just need to take a break. And to help, you can even set a timer or a time limit or a time frame so that you can say, all right, I'm going to take an hour away and do X, Y, and Z. One of the things that I would do consistently while I was in school for so long was to go out and eat with my friends. I made that a priority because I have to eat at some point and I'm going to take an hour to do it. So why not meet up with one of my friends and maybe spend an hour and a half or 2 hours at lunch or brunch or even breakfast eating and enjoying the company of my friends. And then after I'm done with that, while I was in school, I could go back home and continue my work, or I could go back home and do other things that would help me with my work. And what I mean by other things that would help me with my work, I mean the other household responsibilities that I had in terms of making sure my home was clean, laundry was done, dishes were done, the floor was swept, the counters are clean, the table is clean, and the bathroom being clean. I do not play about a bathroom, okay? So I needed to make sure that my space was clean. That way, when I got back to work, whether it was for my job or whether it was for school, I would have a clear mind knowing that, I've taken care of myself. I've taken care of this other part of myself where I value hygiene and cleanliness. And so I can be at peace sitting at my desk while doing my work and not feeling like, oh my gosh, there's a pile of dishes staring at me and I'm going to have to take a long time to do it. It's already done. That feels good. So being all parts of you can include those things that just give you peace, those things that give you resting. So going to sleep, many people wouldn't believe it, but I would pretty much on a consistent basis be in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock, even though I worked full time and I went to school, because I do not function well if I don't have a lot of sleep. My brain will be like, I'm going to take a break. And the time that you spent up, you're going to have to spend that much more time recharging by slowing down in the morning in order to get your energy back up to where it usually is at this time, because you didn't go to bed early. And so it came to a point where I had to say, I need to go to bed early in order to work better the next day. Another thing that I would do when I worked in grant administration with the Title III program was that at 5 o'clock, I had to cut it off. I had to stop. I had to go home. I had to move on. And I've talked about in previous episodes how I would put in time so that I could leave a half a day or 2 hours early so I could change gears and do schoolwork so that I could still get in the bed early. But I won't say that I never had to stay up late, or what was better for me was to indeed get up early as opposed to staying up real late. Because if I got up really early, I found that it worked better for me. I'm not someone who drinks coffee. And so getting to sleep and having at least a solid 4 hours gave me a better chance if I needed to get up early in order to do work before work, or just because I needed to work on something that had an approaching deadline. That would work better for me than staying up late. So when you're being all parts of yourself, let's be real about who you are. Are you a morning person? Are you someone who can stay up late? Are you someone who needs to cut off your work after work so that you can take a clean break and be yourself outside of work? There's so much to do in life, and it's up to you to make the most of it. So whether you're in school, whether you're working, whether you're doing both at the same time, make sure that you're taking time out to enjoy life and whatever that looks like for you. One of the things that I also find is that when I work on things that are of personal interest to me as opposed to work, it makes everything else feel a little better. It doesn't feel like all I'm doing is working for someone else's objectives and goals and purposes, but I'm working on things that matter to me. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't align with my job. That is completely far from the truth. I am grateful that I work in higher education because I have this thing for education that precedes me even being a teacher. When I finally decided to become a teacher, my friends were like, "Oh, yes, that makes sense. You're always teaching somebody." So it was like a fit, and I just find myself being productive in that space because I know students are involved. So when I was in the classroom, it was all about the students, making sure they had what they needed. I purposely taught as if I was one of the students in the classroom. What would I want from my instructor? So because of my inclination, passion, and desire and enjoyment and fulfillment that I get from being an educator and working in education, I do enjoy my job. However, there are some things that I like a little bit even more. So by working on those things, it makes me feel like, you know what? I'm doing things that I really like, and I'm glad that I'm able to do it. It's not painful. I enjoy it, and I don't mind. So I don't feel like I'm slaving away at work to do somebody else's bidding, but I go to work and then I'm able to shift gears and do the things that I enjoy even more on my own time without feeling bad about it, because that's a part of being all parts of me. I like to enjoy life, and that means I need to switch things up. I need to do things that I'm interested in. I need to explore. I like to travel, and I like to chill. So with all that being said, I want to encourage you to be all parts of you, not just the person who chugs away at work. Perhaps you're someone who gets the greatest fulfillment out of work, and that's your greatest joy. That's wonderful. But also take a look at other things, because chances are there's always something to do when it comes to work. And so at some point, you just have to stop and do something else. So I want to encourage you to use your creativity. If you think you're not a creative person, find a way that fits you, whether that's looking at different Pinterest boards to get inspirations for decoration, whether that's getting a pre-drawn canvas so that you can paint a painting, whether that's taking a look at the small things that you can fix around your home to make you feel like, oh, that's nice. I know I appreciate the shower filter that I installed recently because I have hard water where I live and I can tell the difference. And I'm glad that I took the time out to order it and install it myself. And it's not leaking. So that is a win-win. Tap into your other talents. If you sing, sing to yourself or sing in a group, or sing along with your favorite song. If you dance, dance while no one is watching, and even get in places and spaces where you can dance, where you're the center of attention or amongst other people who dance. And don't be afraid to take lessons. I did take salsa lessons once, and I realized that everything started with the left foot. And I was like, oh, wow, these people really are creative, because it was a struggle for me to get my brain to think about using my left foot first instead of my right foot. So don't be afraid to take lessons, whether that's dancing lessons, singing lessons, or even art lessons. Try another language. I also want to encourage you to incorporate breaks, whatever those breaks look like. It could look like doing something different from what you've been working on for a long time. It could look like scheduling time with your friends to have and enjoy a meal or a game night. It can look like taking a break by going on a drive and going to the beach. That was one of my goals. At least once a year, it was my goal to travel and go to the beach so that I could just sit and reflect and be in amazement, because the ocean has been here longer than I have, and most likely will be in place longer than I will be. Going to the beach helped me to just stop and take a moment and slow down and say to myself, there might be a whole lot going on in life, but you know what? It's okay to take a break. It's okay to slow down. It's okay not to do everything in one day. Yes, I like to-do lists, but I've learned to move things along my calendar and push things further out that can be pushed further out. I've learned to work backwards and forwards. So working on old tasks as well as tasks that need time to be attended to. So let's say it's a long-term project. So working on it bit by bit, as opposed to feeling like I have to get it all done in one day. And I've also learned how to feed in to my list things that do not take a whole lot of time, just to knock them out of the way as soon as possible, so they're not standing in my way of a long-term project or something else that takes a greater amount of thought. So taking breaks may be taking a break from one project and doing something else that doesn't take as much time. Finally, I want to encourage you to take care of yourself. At the end of the day, you should be your highest priority, because if you take care of yourself, then you will put yourself in a better position to be of use and help and assistance to others. Once again, thank you for listening to another episode of the Black-Liberation.Tech podcast. I am your host, Dr. Renee Jordan. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and share, rate, and review the podcast to help it become more discoverable. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.